Hey guys, welcome to our live broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited for you guys to be here, especially with the holidays coming up. We're kind of excited about this topic. Um, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy Waters, and my channel is Waters Wife, and I will let these beautiful ladies introduce themselves. Let's start with Quinn.
Hi, my name is Quinn, and my channel is It's Quintendo.
Woo! And then we've got Nikki next.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I'm in Australia, and our channel is the Penny's Vlogs.
Woo woo! And then Maria.
Hey everybody, Maria Collins, and I have a daily family vlog called Go Team Collins.
Woo! Go Team Collins. I love when I see that because it's like so, like I love that you have an exclamation point because it's so like, Go Team Collins. Always makes me smile. Awesome. So let's just start with like, okay, first of all, I kind of have, it's probably, I don't think it's a dumb question because I know that like other countries have already celebrated, but we're talking about Thanksgiving and Nikki is in Australia. Like, do they have Thanksgiving there?
No.
Okay, so this is a normal week for you.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, "Are you doing Thanksgiving?" Because I have a lot of family in the U.S., and I'm like, "No, because it's boiling hot, and I'm not making a turkey in the heat."
Right, I didn't even think about that.
But no, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We have like Australia Day in January, so.
Oh, okay. Is that kind of like, well, we have Independence Day, but I guess that's for war. I guess that's,
Well, we have Anzac Day, which is for the war.
oh, okay. That's crazy. Like all these countries that are so similar, but so very different. Awesome. Well, I mean, I guess you still have Christmas and New Year's and all of that, and Kwanzaa,
Yeah.
Hanukkah.
Hopefully, I'll have Christmas this year. We're not putting up our Christmas tree because apparently we may be moving.
Oh, that's right.
So, yeah. Yay!
Just take like a string of lights and like make like a design on the wall that's like just a zigzag. I've seen people
Yeah.
do that.
There's
Then
my
you just
Christmas
put them down.
tree.
Like the sad Charlie Brown tree.
Just hang up one of those car air fresheners that's shaped like a tree.
There you go.
That would work.
All right, Maria, what kind of plans do you have for Thanksgiving?
We have Daryl's family coming over, so it's going to be my sister-in-law, her husband, and my brother-in-law's parents, which
Wow.
I don't know what that makes them to us, but they're almost like Sagan's unofficial grandma and grandpa. So everybody's bringing food. It's going to be a big to-do, and then I have a plan for any leftovers that are not paleo-friendly, because I am following the paleo diet. Any leftovers that are not paleo-friendly, I'm going to go to the neighbors across the street. I already talked them into it, and they agreed to it, so I think we're covered. We're in good shape for all the bad food to leave the house.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's smart. That's way smart to have a plan with that. Wait.
Yeah, that's what we're up to.
Nice. And then Quinn?
We are going to get together with some of our friends from church. We're going to like come together for the feast. That's what they're calling it, I guess. And we're going to meet like in a little community center and just have a big shared meal. So luckily I'm not cooking this year, so we shouldn't have that many leftovers. Like we'll probably take some containers so that my husband can bring home turkey and stuff, the stuff that he really likes. But luckily we're not gonna have like a bunch of stuffing and all these other foods that I love in the house. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
I understand having a turkey for Christmas because it's like a big feast thing. But why do you have it for Thanksgiving?
Well, Thanksgiving was started because when the Pilgrims came over to America, they didn't know how to like farm or plant crops or anything, and the Native Americans helped them. And so then the like to thank the Native Americans, they had a big feast, which was Thanksgiving, and they like cooked turkey and a bunch of stuff that we don't make anymore. But I do know that they had turkeys, and they put something in with the corn to make, like when they planted it. I don't know. I learned all that in school, but but that's where the Thanksgiving, like, so turkey is more prevalent at Thanksgiving, and while people still have turkeys on Christmas, ham is more for Christmas.
Okay. Yeah.
History lesson.
Ham is big here because you can barbecue it.
Ah.
Which is what you do in Australia. You go to the beach and barbecue.
That's awesome. That's my kind of Christmas. I need to live here in the summertime and there in the wintertime, and just have summer all year long.
I have a fan going on to my right, and then one like up above.
Oh my gosh.
So hot today.
Oh, that is so crazy. I can't even imagine.
I'm like pretty dark now though.
I'm like the whitest I've been in months.
Chris fries. He goes all bright red, and I just go black.
Nice. Well, I'll be jealous of you, especially when you send pictures of you running on the beach.
Oh, sorry. Whoops. That was good though. I hadn't been out in a while, and I was like, oh my goodness.
No, it's motivating. I guess we could all like go to the gym and turn the heater up really hot and watch like a beach movie. It'd be kind of the same thing. And just like get a bag of sand and dump it on the treadmill as you run. Totally think that they would let you do that. For me, on Thanksgiving, we are, in the morning time, we are going with Tyson's family on a walk, which it's like the turkey trot or whatever. So we'll do that in the morning. We've done that one year before, and it worked out really well because then we still got to see each other, because this is my family's year for dinner. So we still get to see each other, but we also like get our blood going a little, you know, get our heart rates up. And then dinner with my family, which is good. We always get assigned the vegetable. So, and it's always green bean casserole. But I kind of was like thinking, like every year I think about it and I'm like, Thanksgiving food, like so many people like stress about it, but Thanksgiving food is actually really healthy if you go about it in a different way. Because fresh turkey is a really good protein. Yeah. And like, yeah, you can like yams are really good for you. Just stop putting sugar and marshmallows on them. You don't need it. You can make gravy more healthy than what it is. Mashed potatoes aren't too bad. I mean, they're starch, so obviously limit that. I don't know. I just am like, what is so bad about... I don't really particularly like a lot of Thanksgiving food, but it's also, like, totally possible to keep it healthier. Sorry, my cat is just...
I don't think it's the actual, like, Thanksgiving food that I have a problem with. It's the overindulgence.
Right.
It's like the one day a year that you're supposed to be, like, miserably full.
Yes.
So I'm always like, I gotta get my fat pants on, and I gotta eat as much as I can, and like, eat a bunch of pie, and like I treat it way differently than any other meal. Like obviously I wouldn't gorge myself every day, but I guess it's just the thing to do on Thanksgiving. So.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, that's kind of what we're like trained to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because, like, Thanksgiving food here, like, even, like, buying a turkey and, like, gravy and stuff like that is so expensive that, like, one of the things about, like, I gotta admit, one of the things about Australia is that because the food is so expensive here, you don't buy as much.
Ah.
So, but, like...
You don't need to move to Australia.
Sorry?
We all should move to Australia then.
I agree. You just need to come over here.
I'm down.
But yeah, so expensive. And I don't know if it's because we're all the way at the bottom of the world and getting stuff down here is ridiculous, but it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because, yeah, they have to, like, ship everything there. But, I mean, you think that a lot of that stuff, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't, when I think of Australia, I think of mostly, like, kind of deserty land. So I guess you can't really grow a lot of the same stuff that they can elsewhere. But
Yeah.
even, like, in Puerto Rico, when we were there last year, they were talking about, like, they grow fruit and stuff, and they ship it to America only to ship some of it back for them to use. And it's like, you can't just keep it. Keep it there. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Who knew?
For me, it's like, so Halloween. Oh my gosh. Not Halloween. That was a hard holiday with candy too. But for me, like, Thanksgiving's not too bad. I mean, I'm not a huge pie fan, so I know that there's obviously that temptation. For me, it's once the, like, Christmas parties happen. And so it's like every week there's multiple parties where you're like, okay, I'm going to cheat here. Oh, wait, I wanted to cheat at that one. Oh, wait, I wanted to cheat this one. And it's like, then you're cheating almost every single day. And people are bringing leftover candy and desserts and foods into work, and it's just like one thing after the next.
Yeah.
So Christmas parties must be a big thing. And who are your Christmas parties with? Just
So, like, for me, we have my work party, and we have my husband's work party, and then family all wants to get together and gather, and then friends all want to get together and gather. So pretty much, like, every day of the weekend is going to be booked from here till the end of the year. Gets busy.
I have my husband's Christmas party on Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
Whew. Luckily enough, those are done differently. It's where you have to do your own stuff, so it's you go and meet him on location, and then you go and purchase what you want, and you will come back.
Oh.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, so it's a bit different because kind of how businesses save money, I guess. But yeah, that's how they do it. And you only, like, Chris had his work party. Obviously, I'm not working, so I didn't have one, but yeah, that's kind of it. And they do it at the very beginning of, like, the Christmas season so that it's, like, done and out of the way and all that. But at the moment, we have schoolies, which is when all the seniors in high school finished school on Friday for the year.
Oh, my gosh.
So our school system goes January to December,
Oh.
beginning of the year to the end of the year, which would make sense. Mm-hmm. And then they finish and go on 2 weeks of, like, drinking and having fun and being out and about, and it all happens in Surfers Paradise. So.
Oh, that actually is convenient because obviously they built our school system around the summertime, so
Yeah.
you're in school during the heat. But that would be really convenient to have that break during the holidays and still.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then university students get 3 months. So when I was in college, I'd finish my class in mid-November, and I wouldn't go back till the beginning of March.
Wow.
So you have a 3 month. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and in Argentina it's the same way. It's probably, most of the southern hemisphere is probably the same schedule, right?
I think in the British ones it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I think, because Britain still, because my family's from Britain and from England, so they are similar where they have time off in the summertime. But I think they do have a Christmas break. I can't remember. I'd have to ask. I don't know. Weird thing.
Australia follows the British monarchy, so because we're related, obviously we're related to Britain, so it's all weird.
All right. So, what do you guys think that that will be helpful for us to, like, stay on track through December?
Oh, that's $1 million question, Amy.
Right. Right.
I think for me, it is that one of my goals is to fall in love with food and start to cook more, and try new recipes and kind of keep it festive and keep it interesting, but still within my diet. I think that's going to help me to stay motivated and still feel like I'm enjoying the holidays, but do it within what is healthy within the diet. So that's kind of my strategy, and I bought all kinds of baking implements and things this week. I went a little bit crazy with all my baking sheets and spatulas and stuff. I probably spent way too much money on that, but I'm excited. I'm excited to try new recipes, and I'm excited to still get to enjoy the preparation for the holidays and the gatherings, but still do it within what I can eat. So that's gonna be hopefully my magic bullet. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
That's awesome. I think when you hear that, like, that you want to fall in love with food, like, at first, as, like, coming from, like, a channel that's focused on fitness and weight loss, you're like, well, obviously you're all in love with food. But I think that, like, the way you're saying it is so awesome because it's such a different way to think about it. Especially, like, food is fuel, and obviously that is what runs our body. And when you love your body and you love the fuel that you put in it and use healthy fuel instead of, like, garbage fuel, like, I don't know, I just have really been loving following your updates when you talk about that sort of stuff because it's fascinating. Like, I hate to cook. I hate to bake. I hate to anything that requires more than 3 ingredients. I'm like, nope, I'm out. It's just like, yeah, like, if you love food and what you can actually use different, like, vegetables and proteins and healthy starches to, like, make a healthy fuel for your body that tastes good, like, that's such an incredible, like, way to think about it.
Yeah, and I was very much not cooking, for the longest time. I kind of coasted on this diet of prepared things that I would bring into the house or go out to eat, and now I want to understand how the food gets from the farm to my plate. I want to understand that process, and I want to understand what makes it be good and what makes it not be good. Like the other days when I made the paleo brownies, I expected them to be awful, and they were the best brownies I've eaten in my life.
Really?
And they were within my diet. I'm eating brownies and losing weight. What other diet can, that's mind-blowing to me. And it is fun, and I am enjoying
Oh, there we go. I think her internet's cutting out. Dang it.
Yeah. Aw.
Maria, if you can hear us, you're cutting out, so we can't hear you anymore. Which, of course, when she's, like, talking about passionate stuff, like, it really has been, like, I love when I get her updates in. I mean, I love when I get all of your updates in, but I've really been enjoying, like, on her journey, learning about how she's been trying to fall in love with food, and it's been really awesome because I'm like, oh, I love food, but I don't love food.
Was it done through? Did she mention? I think it's Pinterest. Is that where all the recipes are?
I think she's pulled some of them from Pinterest.
Yeah.
I think so. I'd have to go back and look. Because Quinn, you were doing some off Pinterest too, right?
Yeah, I have a whole.
So was
For that.
She's totally.
So was April, I think.
Yeah, I think April has a bunch on Pinterest too, which I need to be so much better. The only thing I use Pinterest for is nail art and what I'm going to have my nail girl do on my nails. But
Yeah, I've been trying to do my own.
I know, I was looking at your nails. They're so cute.
Yeah.
Well,
One of
Quinn,
my obsessions.
yeah. Quinn, talk to us about some of what you've been doing off of Pinterest then, just since we're talking about it.
Okay, so that is like where I've gone to learn about like my PCOS diet and
Mm-hmm.
eating gluten-free and dairy-free, and it's so confusing because there's like so many different names for gluten, like on like the nutrition facts ingredient list. There's a bunch of different names for gluten and a bunch of different names for dairy, and so like that's kind of been my go-to on like educating myself because most of like Pinterest is linked from blogs, and I personally feel like I want to learn from people that have had personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier for me to learn that way. So, like learning from people who went gluten free and like things that worked for them specifically.
Sorry, I got disconnected.
That's okay.
Maria, we're talking Pinterest recipes.
Yes, we've moved on to Pinterest. So Quinn was just talking to us about her PCOS diet and like the different names and how tricky it can be to find what's in each thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
and so
interesting.
like finding things that are like gluten free or dairy free.
Mm-hmm.
Going to those recipes is so easy on Pinterest, and finding like things that I already love, but ways to make it like gluten and dairy free. Like that's been probably my go-to for Pinterest. And I have everything divided in boards because used to I had like all of my food in one board, and so I would go on Pinterest looking for a healthy recipe, but then I'd see like the cheesecake brownies that I pinned, and I'd be like, just kidding, that looks good instead. So now having everything separated in boards, like I have a PCOS diet board, and I'm going and I'm looking at that one, and I'm not looking at anything else because it's just too tempting sometimes.
Can you explain, because I guess I'm not 100% clear on, so is it you or is it just PCOS in general? How does the gluten-free, dairy-free benefit or help the PCOS? You know?
um, okay, so with PCOS, like we already deal, and this is like me personally because so many people experience PCOS in different ways. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, people with PCOS already deal with inflammation, like just issues in general, and that has to do a lot with like our bloating and why we carry most of our weight in our stomach is a lot to do with like bloating and inflammation. And
Mm-hmm.
so gluten promotes bloating and inflammation already. So it's just better to cut that out and not add to the problem. And there's also like a natural hormone that's in dairy, basically like, and it's not even only in dairy. It's like even in our like breast milk and stuff, just like a natural growth hormone, and that's what allows like young baby animals to grow and stuff.
Right.
And so since people with PCOS already have like hormonal issues, having that growth hormone in there just throws things off balance and um, can make it difficult to lose weight, and it just adds again to the inflammation and bloating and stuff.
Right.
It just helps us to hold weight. So it's good to just cut those out, or at least lessen them. The only reason I'm cutting them out is because if I, go a week without gluten and then have something with gluten, like it makes me miserable.
Oh, okay.
And then like the same thing with dairy. And soy again is one of those things that in excess can lead to just hormonal imbalances. And so since people with PCOS already have hormonal imbalances, like it's good to just stay away from anything that adds to that. So I'm also trying to cut soy right now, which is difficult because soy is in everything.
Right.
So yeah.
That's so crazy. Like, because then when you hear a lot of people who go dairy free, they switch to soy. So
Mm-hmm.
that's almost like you can't have anything.
Yeah. Like luckily I like almond milk. But there's a lot of people who don't like almond milk and they will only drink soy. I've never liked the taste of milk itself, so for me that wasn't a difficult switch. But.
Yeah. What about, is coconut milk okay too?
Yeah, coconut milk is fine. I just personally don't love the taste, but
Right.
a lot of people prefer it. So.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, that takes a lot of willpower to switch over to all of that.
Yeah.
I think I say that every single time though. I'm just always like fascinated by, I don't know. I don't know. I obviously need to be more diligent in sticking to my like specific diet, but it's so hard. Right now I need to cut the carbs back out of our diet, and it's just like, and you hear so much about like, don't cut every carb, and I don't know. We've been working with our physician and our surgeon that did our weight loss surgery, so we've been trying to work on the balance of carbs and stuff. But that said, that's when I'm actually like on the diet, and right now I'm just like struggling to stick with it because of just stress. Like I talk about on my channel, like I've been really going through, like I went through a lot of anxiety, and I was working with my therapist to combat that anxiety. And in doing so, like I've calmed down and like chilled out a lot, but that's opened the door for depression to come in. And so now it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to hear all the different diets that work for us and stuff. And I actually have wondered if I have PCOS because, I mean, the bulk of my weight is in my belly that I refer to as Edith. So I have that. And I have a few different of the symptoms, but I don't, my physician has never really, like, brought it up with me. And I don't have, like, I've never had anything where I felt like I had like a cyst rupture or anything like that. But I guess, I mean, is it possible to have a cyst that never ruptures?
It's possible to have PCOS and not even have cysts.
Oh, okay. Well,
Like, it's kind of crazy because for the longest time, it was like to be diagnosed with PCOS, you had to have cysts and have insulin resistance. And if you didn't have one or the other, it was like, no, you don't have it. But now they've like changed their criteria and they're realizing that if you have like, maybe 2 or 3 of these symptoms, like you could still have PCOS. And so the like process for diagnosis has really expanded, like, blood tests and just like noticing like stuff like, excess facial hair or
Well, I have that.
yeah, it's like just these random things that you would never think of for something called polycystic ovarian syndrome, like,
right.
And so, yeah, there's like 1 in 4 women have PCOS, but about 50% go undiagnosed because they're like, oh, I don't have cysts on my ovaries, or maybe their doctor just doesn't even know about it. I've had to like educate some of my doctors like on what it even is, and ask them to do more research because they don't even know how to treat me.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it's possible that you could have PCOS, or it could just be some of those random symptoms that you have just cause.
Right.
But, yeah, I always say like if it's even a flicker of a thought, it's worth the test just to find out, because then if you do, then it's like, okay, now I know how to combat all these things.
What is the test, and is it something that you can just go to your family doctor for, or is it something that you would want to go to like an OBGYN?
So you can go to your doctor because a lot of it has to do with just blood tests, and checking like hormonal kind of stuff within your blood, checking like for insulin resistance, checking for elevated testosterone, checking for a few of those things. And so a lot of that your family physician can do. But the very best thing is to go to an RE, which is a reproductive endocrinologist. And typically you would go to them for like trying to conceive kind of stuff, but they're also like the subject matter experts for anything to do with the endocrine system, which PCOS is an endocrine disorder. So they're like the go-to people, but it's not necessary to go to them just to find out, if that's what you have. So, yeah.
But Quinn, that's such a good point because I have hypothyroidism, which is where your thyroid doesn't work. And I have encountered situations much like you where I am the one telling the doctor what the normal numbers are or what the new guideline is. And I think that is just such a shame for people not to be properly educated about disorders and then not want to adjust medication or not want to treat things properly, and then you go on with symptoms that are perfectly preventable. So there's a huge component of lack of education within the medical community that I think definitely needs to be addressed for many conditions, many conditions.
Right. I mean, it's kind of hard because, like, when I graduated college, I started working in one medical clinic. I switched to another clinic, and now I work in, like, the back end of the medical world, but I still work with physicians every day. And I know how much, like, to keep their board certification and their state licenses and stuff, they still have to go do yearly, it's called, like, continuing education, so they still have to learn. But, like, they get to kind of pick and choose which classes they go to. So it's kind of hard because it's like they have a lot of opportunity to continue to learn about things, but if it's not something that they're interested in, then they're never going to go to that class. They're never going to learn that. I mean, with me having weight loss surgery, a lot of people are like, oh, you have lap band. I'm like, no. And they're like, oh, you have, like, the stereotypical one is called RNY surgery. I'm like, no, I have duodenal switch. And there's only, well, when we had the surgery, there was only one physician in the whole state that was even certified to do that surgery. That's how uncommon it was. And for that particular surgery, I mean, obviously weight loss surgery is common. And so it's just kind of like, I mean, I've had to be telling my doctor, my family physician, she tries to give me ibuprofen all the time. I'm like, I cannot have ibuprofen. Like, how many times do I have to say it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing is, like, it has to be a good partnership with you and your physician. It can't be you constantly having to inform your physician what you need, and it can't be your physician being the only person telling you what you need. Like, I think that a good family-physician marriage is where both parties are able to work together on your health, you know? And so I just think, I mean, not everybody has the opportunity to switch doctors when they want to. I mean, it depends on what your city and your insurance has available, but I think I've been considering switching with mine but I don't know. I love mine. Mine's a nurse practitioner, though. I don't know. Oh, it's so many different decisions.
Yeah, I realized that, like, the best doctors I've had, as far as my PCOS goes, they have, like, had a sister with it, or, it's something that they have, and it's something that they're passionate about.
Right.
And for us, like, my husband being military and we have military insurance, it's kind of difficult to switch doctors because it's like, well, if you want to switch, you have to switch your entire plan, and then, it's just kind of a headache. And so sometimes I just would put up with it, and I'm like, oh, I'll just, whatever they say, even though I know it might not be the right thing. But now, because I would just try to do everything on my own, but now I'm, starting to learn, like, I need that help from a physician, that actually, is more intelligent than I am. And so, yeah, I think it's definitely good to, like, fight for your own, like, medical care.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely got to be a give and take from both is what
Yeah,
I've been over the years. I mean, it was a little bit frustrating. Like, one of the things I really enjoyed about the surgery office we went through is there was a $500 fee that they would not bill to your insurance. You had to pay that out of pocket. And that fee covered all of the pre-courses before surgery, and then there was a few courses right after surgery, and then ongoing group therapy for infinity. That fee covered all of that. And if you weren't willing to pay that money, then they weren't willing to do the surgery on you. And so because because of that fee, the pre-surgery courses were mandatory, and then of course things after they couldn't enforce. So we would go to our pre-classes where we learned about nutrition and how our new bodies would work and all that stuff. And there was this one guy who just sat and stared out the window the whole time, and I'm like, are you paying attention? Because this is really important stuff. So it's like both. Like, I've had physicians who just don't care, and I've seen patients who just don't care, and you're like, you only have one body. And I know that sounds so hypocritical because I'm not fully taking care of my one body I have, but it's just like, sometimes I don't know. It's hypocritical. I say sometimes I wish people would just take care of theirs, and here I am doing different things, not taking care of it.
My weirdest thing was I started in a nursing degree. I got halfway through, and worked in the industry for about 5-6 years. And my weirdest thing was when I'd see nursing people smoke.
Yes.
That weirded me out so much. I was like, huh? And then I went from doing that to, I used to do like body prep, so when people would pass away, I would get them. And so you learn a lot about the body, and it's a big eye opener to what's out there. And as much as I'm like, it's the craziest job, I'm kind of like, I wish everyone had to have this job so that they could see what goes on and what's out there and stuff. So
yeah, no, I mean,
oh wow, I should work on that.
Right. It was kind of eye-opening. We had Body Worlds or something. I mean, I know that there is a lot of fat in my body, and I know it surrounds your organs. Like, I get all that, but they had Body Worlds come into town where they had, like, I don't know, like, they would take the skin off of a body and show you, like, muscles and
like all the veins and stuff.
Yeah, like all these really awesome things with anatomy. And there was one that they had an obese person cut in half. I can't remember if it was like cut in half this way or this way, but either way you could see the half of it, and it was just like, wow. Like, that's intense. And I was talking to a coworker because I was like, when I lose all my weight, I'm going to get a big tummy tuck, like, all the way around, and I'm going to get a boob lift, and we were just talking about that stuff. And she was like, well, couldn't they just do, like, a tummy tuck now and just, like, cut it off now with as much fat in it as there is? Like, I'm making it sound like she was being rude, but she wasn't. Like, it was just part of the conversation. And I was like, I mean, I imagine that they could, but it's almost like, is that worth it? Because I don't feel that, like, I don't know. I just feel like even if you did do that, you would still have the fat around your heart and stuff that you haven't worked off. And so,
you have to train it. Even if you got it all cut off, you would still have to train your body and your mind because it's such a drastic thing.
Yeah.
You have to train your body and your mind to work on the fat that is internal that they obviously couldn't get to.
Right.
So yeah, that's weird. Because I don't know, like, obviously Maria, you're new to the group since our first introductions, but when I started a year ago, like, after I did my first 6 months and lost my first 15K or whatever it is, the doctor was like, you got to slow down because you're just gonna, it's not gonna work. And I was like, okay. And now my body's doing the whole, it's like, oh, I remember this, I understand what you're trying to do, but it's not as fast of a rate because I did it fairly quickly at the beginning. So, yeah, I think it would be the same if you had surgery. I think your brain has to kind of like the catching up type thing. And it's not just fat loss too, it's also muscle tonage, and then like your ligaments move, and all that type of stuff. So it's all different. Yeah, the internal stuff's the one they can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
I know, it's really interesting. I mean, a lot of people will say that about like weight loss surgery too, and we've got Donna in the group is saying that she's considering it. Now, it's not for everyone. I know when I talk about it, like, I don't want anyone to think like that I'm pushing it for everyone. It's certainly not. For some people, it is the only way. But even with me, like, I messed up on mine, and my weight loss screeched to a halt, because I was doing other stuff, like trying to get pregnant and stuff before I should have been. And so I kind of messed it up. But, like, what's nice about that is I don't think a lot of people realize that you can have that weight loss surgery, but you still have to be in control of working out and every single thing you put in your mouth, because you can have weight loss surgery and still eat garbage all day long. You're not going to be healthy. You might have a smaller body, but your internal organs are not going to be healthy. And, like, a lot of people they think that, oh, okay, I have this rapid weight loss happening right now because of the surgery, and they're not going to the gym. So then they're losing muscle mass, which is also not healthy. So it's just like with anything, it's just keeping it healthy also. Anyway, I just wanted to, like, bring that up because he was talking about it in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, has anyone asked questions?
Not yet.
Okay. I didn't even think of that. I was like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just over here chit-chatting about weight loss surgery.
Well, but what you were saying, Amy, I think that's true also, even without the surgery. I think that if you're working out a lot, but you're still eating a lot of sugar, your insulin levels are going to be out of whack. So it's a comprehensive approach. It's not just one thing that you can do. You have to do multiple things and kind of get it right in every area.
It really is weight loss and fitness, because this channel is about a little bit, like, we have a lot of people on here, not a lot, there's 10 of us. There's some of us who are strictly kind of in the weight loss zone right now, and there's a few that are in, like, just keeping themselves fit or working towards the last little bit. But with either case, like, I feel like it's a science experiment. Like, some people need the carbs in their diet, some people don't. Some people need the dairy in their diet, some people can't. Like, it's just like back and forth and back and forth. And I think that that's something that's so fascinating about health and fitness, is that with anything, we are all different people. And of course, junk food is not good for anybody. But it's like there's almost like a competition sometimes, I feel like, when it comes to weight loss, like, oh, you're eating potatoes. Potatoes are starch. And, like, I don't know, like, when we were talking about Thanksgiving food can be healthy, when I even said potatoes, I was like, I mean, it's a starch, I know, but, I mean, it's almost like you're like, I don't want to be, like, afraid to say things anymore. And it's like, if you're going to cheat on your diet, having a little bit of mashed potatoes is hardly the worst thing that you could ever do. And in some people's cases, they need that starch in their diet. So it's interesting what society has, like, I don't know, there's not just in health and fitness, but there's so many different things where it's just like, you almost feel like you can't say anything anymore.
Yeah, well, and then you'll, like, the people that have had awesome success doing, whatever worked for them, you'll see a lot of times they think that's the only way.
Right.
And I'll be talking about, like, the PCOS diet that I follow, because I think that that's what's going to be most beneficial for me. And I'll get people saying, like, well, you need to go vegan, or you need to go raw, or, whatever, and saying, like, that's the only diet that will, get you results. And I'm like, that's awesome that it worked for you, but a vegan or raw diet is not realistic for me. first of all, I would never stick to it. And second of all, like, just, there's other things that my body, needs and craves and, taking care of my own body. And so I feel like a lot of times we can fall into that trap of, like, feeling judgmental towards someone else's diet and what works for them because it didn't work for us in the past.
Right.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I know. That's why, I don't know, like, I try to be very, like, clear that when I talk about, like, the weight loss surgery for me, that I know it's not for everyone. And I know that, like, I don't know, like, I get a lot of comments, like, oh, you did that, okay, like, because I know that that's very taboo. And trust me, if I could have done this on my own without the tool of like making my stomach smaller, I definitely tried. Like, since the moment my husband and I met, we have been on a diet. We worked with like a nutrition expert, like all this different stuff. And for us, when it came right down to it, after everything we had tried, it was like, for me, like, I never felt full ever. And it's like I could sit and eat and eat and eat all day long, never felt full. And where I still battle with the same like head hunger and all of that now, like, at least my stomach is like, whoa, we're at capacity. You need to at least take a minute and calm yourself down. So it's like, for me, that's what worked. And like for you, the PCOS diet, which I might have to start looking into, or the vegan diet for the vegans, or the gluten-free, like that's what I think we just like all need to remember, that it's like an encouragement, not a my thing is better than your thing, or society.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Well, I always feel weird because, when I have lost a little bit of weight and people ask, what'd you do? And I'm like, nothing. I said, I feel bad because I'm like, I got nothing for you. I'm so sorry. I didn't.
But see, even then, like, you shouldn't feel bad because your body was ready to let go of some weight, and you were doing the things that your body needed for it to lose that weight. Like, you should never feel bad. Like, I mean, I kind of feel bad because my husband and I did this surgery on the same day, and we both were doing really well, and then obviously, like, he got to one of his goals. There was multiple goals. He got to his goal, and I didn't, and so sometimes that's very frustrating, and I get mad but it's like, I shouldn't be mad at him because he got there. Like, I should be happy, I try to be.
Yeah.
It's funny. My husband comes from, I call them the family of Poles because they are all like Poles.
Thin.
And I am not. I was when I met them, but it's weird. And my sister-in-law just had a baby, and she literally was like a pole with a soccer ball stuck up, like that's what she was pregnant from behind. And then she had the baby, and I was like, where did it go? And I was like, if I'm like that when I'm pregnant, I'll be one happy camper because.
Oh my god.
Maria's laughing at me.
I know, it's so funny because it's just like, I don't know. And I have a lot of like really skinny friends who are like, well, it's really hard being skinny. And I'm like, oh, I know. I know you've got your own issues, but I don't want to hear about it. Every single person on this planet has something that's really difficult for them. But all the people who are like skinny, I 100% want to validate that their skinny issues mean just as much to them as me, but I just don't want to hear about it. I love you, but no. Anyway. It's just funny. Well, we've been on here for almost an hour already, guys. That just like flew right by.
Yeah.
What time is it there? 9 p.m.?
For me in Utah, it just is almost 8.
Yeah, it's 10 here in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's getting late. It's 7 where Quinn is, right?
Yep.
All right,
Well,
let's
it's 1
do
in
it.
the afternoon here, so we're good.
Like, what time is it there?
This is really nice of you guys to do it in the afternoon. That's really sweet. Glad you're feeling so accommodating. That's really,
It's 9 o'clock in Chicago, so we've got a few different time zones in here. It's still so fascinating to me. The international date line throws me off so much. I'm just
it's weird.
like growing up with my mom's entire family in England, like I get the 8 hour difference. That makes sense to me, but for it to be like almost 24 hours different, I'm just like, that is so weird.
My dad's from Texas, and he used to say I think it's 4 hours ahead, but yesterday. That's
Yeah.
how we used to do it. Yeah, 3 or
Interesting.
4 hours ahead, but the day before.
That's a great
So wait, Nikki, because today is Monday for you?
Yeah, it's Monday afternoon.
That's mind blowing.
Don't worry, nothing much has happened. You haven't missed much.
How's the future? Is the world better off?
A little bit warmer.
So if something huge happens in the world and it affects multiple people in the world, I often wonder, like say now we're 10 years down the road and we all want to celebrate that day that it happened. Half the world would celebrate one day and half the world would celebrate another day.
Well, think about it this way. I'll hit 2016 before you do.
I don't think I'm ready for 2016.
No,
Like, no.
that's fine. You can have that.
I heard today that it's only 5.5 weeks until the new year, and I was like, wait, what? Like, I still have things I need to do. Like,
No.
I'm not ready for a new year. So,
We started our Christmas shopping today, and I was like, "Wow, we're doing this early this year," and I'm like, "No, it's like 4 weeks away. We really need to get on this now."
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually don't feel very much like that it is Christmas this year. I think it's because I don't have a summer job, so I'm not hearing Christmas carols all the time and not seeing trees and all that stuff all the time.
Your
So
decorations.
it's like, oh, it's Christmas? Right, okay.
Well, hopefully, if you get moved in somewhere like with at least a week before the holiday or something, you'll be able to put up your decorations and, I don't know, celebrate for a little bit.
Well, our tradition is usually our Christmas tree goes up the day after Thanksgiving. That's the Woods family. That's what we
Yeah.
grew up with. Mind you, Japan was snow, so like, I'm like, it's supposed to snow.
You should just get one of those little, like, small trees. We weren't sure how the cats would react to a tree, so we started with just, like, the 3-foot tall tree. And they did perfect with that. So now we have, like, the 7-foot tree.
Yeah.
I'll just, like, subliminally send you our 3-foot tree.
We have cat bells for the bottom of our tree. We always have. I've never always owned the cat, but we had cats in Japan, and when we came, we brought the bells and left the cats. And people are always like, what's with the bells? I'm like, they're for our imaginary cats. And some people legitimately believe that we have a cat. They're like, and Chris will sneak them and be like, oh, yeah, it's just not in right now. Like, they will believe that we have a cat. We don't. But it's just like, oh, my goodness. The one time of the year he can be like, it's just outside. We have a cat.
So funny.
Like,
That's awesome. That's so great.
oh, she's going for a walk.
Oh, we're moving. We're on the move.
Sorry, we have a bit of a Yeti emergency going on here. I need to say say hi.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, he's so cute.
Can you wave?
Aww.
Oh, little one.
Hi.
Okay, you guys, I'm gonna sign off. Sorry about that.
No, you're
I'll
just fine.
talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right, guys. Well, I think it's time to wrap up this broadcast anyway, but I think the moral of the story is just stick with it. There's no answer. We'll just keep hanging in there and keep supporting each other. And, I mean, obviously it's more than just food and fitness and stuff, it's definitely a head game as well. So we're in it together.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you guys joining live. You guys are awesome. I appreciate the conversation. I definitely needed it. I'm glad we could do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Very much.
Channels are linked below. Please go check out everybody's channels because we have awesome YouTubers in this group, and we definitely want to get to know more of our viewers better. So thank you for everyone who was making comments in the chat section and for you guys, and we'll see you next week with a pre-recorded update. Yay! See you guys!